Alrighty, good morning all. Hope you got your big old cups of coffee and you're ready to dig into today. Oh man, got an interesting lineup for you today. Gonna be swinging through Cardano and the Kanye West coin. Sorry, I couldn't even keep it straight while I said that. A little bit more on Vechain, the Travala company's partnership, China working on this digital currency, and the Afghan government getting into the blockchain game. Then we'll mix things up after that with some compound Bitcoin Visa backed talk. So yeah, let's get into things. Thanks for all those who subscribe here on YouTube or over here on the podcast. Yeah, I appreciate everything. As always, links are in the description. So first up, Cardano IOHK per old Charles Hoskinson is going to be airdropping a Kanye West coin. More importantly, for the long term, a stable coin is in the works. That's the real big thing in my mind that really matters. But Kanye West coin, oh yeah, we got to talk about that. So for those of you who don't know, Kanye West announced he's running for president. Okay, now that you're done laughing about that, let's jump into things. It's just the decline of American society as we know it. No big deal. But, yeah. So, obviously, y'all know the Cardano Virtual Summit ended just a few days ago. Hoskinson once again took time to answer questions on the community in an AMA on YouTube. Hoskinson began by talking about the presidential candidacy of Kanye West and explained that he and IOHK West will be supporting the candidacy with a Kanye coin. The issuance of the token is intended to promote Cardano's multi-asset standard, which will be published with Gauguin. So, as he said, if it is not a joke, when Cardano has native assets to demonstrate the power and uniqueness of native assets, we will issue a Kanye coin, and the circulation will be one token for each vote Kanye gets in the election. That can be a nice collector's item, and we will airdrop them proportionally to all the ADA holders. So we wish you very well, Kanye. Brock Pierce also announced it. He's an old friend of mine. So to advertise our native asset standard, we'll do the same thing for Brock. So yeah, this will require an oracle, so obviously we'll build up an oracle and get it up and running, hopefully before the election. And also it would be very cool to have a prediction market in place, so maybe we can use the C fund to figure that out, so we can have predictions. Who will have a higher circulation, Kanye coin or Pierce coin? Oh, Hoskinson, he's getting cocky. He either knows big things are coming. I'm assuming we're going to see a Coinbase listing sometime this year at this point. Shelley obviously seems to be on track for the mid-August release, and he seems to be pretty confident that they're going to be able to deliver Gauguin by the end of this year if he's able to talk about issuing a Kanye coin in conjunction with the 2020 election. So, we'll see what this guy's got going on. But, yeah. Cardano will compete with every project in the next 12 months. That is his goal. He's very quick to point out Cardano is getting more and more respect from all sides, and they want to do that. He also is recognizing the importance of DeFi, or decentralized finance. The days when Cardano was flirted with as a purely scientific project are over, he said. Nothing is out of reach for us at this point. Anything in the DeFi space, within 12 months, we can be a leader in that category. There's a lot of use in utility projects right where they need to be, and they are right to pop. That will bring a lot of users into the system. Hoskinson, he also talked about stablecoins, possibly partnering up with Ergo and Emergo in a joint venture to develop one. It's going to be pretty neat. He's got another surprise AMA listed down here. I watched the last one. It's interesting. It's something to have on while you're doing the dishes, that's for sure. But yeah, that's the Cardano news today and the Kanye West coin news. Okay, so let's jump on over to Vechain. They're fostering adoption with a video contest about the blockchain. They're actually going to be using this to commemorate the second anniversary of their mainnet, which, cool. You know, it's a nice little thing. I know Vechain's had an interesting history. I don't know all of it. I've not followed it very closely, but it really does seem to be popping up lately as something that needs to be watched. So yeah, In celebration of this, Vechain Foundation revealed the top 10 entries for its video contest that they're doing. The Vechain community will be able to vote on which of the 10 they think are the best. So the main intention of the contest is to reaffirm the link between the Vechain Foundation and its community. And as such, they're hosting the contest to allow our talented community to express the uniqueness of Vechain and its ecosystem through passion, creativity, and skill. The contest was well received, and we truly had amazing submissions. Oh, that's nice. So the contest will have 4 prizes for the winners. In the first place, 1 million VETs get given out. Oh, wow. 2 second place winners will be chosen. They'll each get half a mil. Third place, there will be 3 winners who receive 200,000. And finally, 4 honorable mentions that get 100,000 each. Wow, that's nice of them. So basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically, everyone in the top 10 is going to be walking away with something. That's pretty nice of them to do. Obviously, this is just a little fun thing that they're doing to kind of, engage with their community and give back in just a fun little way. It's a nice little think piece. It's nothing crazy. Vechain's not going to shoot to the moon over this or probably move at all, but little things like this are good for the community and good for your long-term holders who are really invested and want to see this type of thing. So Cardano and Vechain, at least right now, are really showing to me that they kind of get it, especially right now. Your community is probably on the smaller side. Your use cases are a little bit more limited just because of technology. So by cultivating your community, you're going to help maintain things while, everything gets developed, which for Cardano is quickly wrapping up. And for Vechain, hopefully is too. Alrighty, but hey, we got to jump over here and talk about Travala. Oh boy, I'm butchering these, I'm sure. Travala's token, which I believe is called AVA, it's up 30% on a partnership with hotel booking giant Expedia, not to be confused with the cryptocurrency project AVA, which I believe its ticker signal is AVAX. So I will talk about that someday down the line. For anyone who's listening, who knows what I'm talking about, it's a very interesting up-and-coming project. So we'll see what that brings. But I digress. So Bitcoin-backed booking platform Travala.com is partnered with Expedia. This partnership will enable Travala customers to book with crypto at Expedia's 700,000 hotels and accommodations. Obviously, that's a huge use case, and I can see why the AVA token has surged 30% by following the news. Actually hopped over here to Coin Lore because CoinMarketCap was down for me today. It looks like it's up on the US dollar by 172% on the year. Whew, pretty good bullish indicators. Oh, just took a drop. Up 22% on the day, 38 cents. Not too bad. Really, not too bad at all. Good for them. But so yeah. No, they did a full announcement on the thing. Looks like you'll be able to book hotels with Bitcoin, BNB, Ethereum, and AVA. Not too bad. Not too bad. Expedia actually began first accepting Bitcoin back in 2014, but removed it in 2018. Their booking flow isn't built for crypto. It was a bit of a nightmare for them to accept Bitcoin payments. Working with Expedia means we can drive traveler loyalty through the coronavirus recovery period, said Juan Otero, CEO of Travala.com. So yeah, that's pretty good. A little bit more examples of adoption. This partnership is huge. Congrats to anyone who holds Travala and got a nice 30% jump. It's pretty good. Hopefully as the world, maybe not America, but the world recovers from the coronavirus, people can start taking those vacations and actually start using their crypto for practical means. So, cool. All right, let's jump over here. Got to talk about, the digital yuan. And they're talking how it's meant to target the dollar, not Bitcoin, to which I say, yeah. Having learned what it needs from the cryptocurrency space and blockchain, China will aim to rival the US dollar. Does not surprise me at all. The dollar has been the dominant currency in the world for some time now, and China, ever the upstart, is looking to usurp the United States in that regard. In regards to economy, they will soon, if I remember correctly. So they're looking to become a dominant player on the world stage and maybe take the superpower crown from the United States, if the United States technically still has it. So Matthew Graham, a veteran investment banker in China and CEO of the Beijing-based Sino Global Capital, analyzed what is known so far about the forthcoming digital currency and argued the Chinese government sees new technologies as a leapfrog opportunity to chip away at the dollar's hegemony. So SWIFT, chips, FedWire, they're all antiquated, expensive, and they're slow. It's 2020 and we have transactions that take 3 days to clear that are far more expensive than they should be. All these technologies that underpin much of the USD-centric global economy are really showing their age, so that's a big opportunity for China. I'm going to digress here. I know y'all know I never do this, but it's pretty similar to actually how the steel industry collapsed. America was dominant in that for nigh on a century, but when Japanese and Chinese factories started coming online in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they were newer, they were faster, they could do more. And people like my grandfather worked in steel mills that hadn't changed since the 1918s, and that antiquated technology meant they couldn't compete, and that partially led to the collapse. Partially. There's some other things in there. As always, that's complex. But I think we might see something quite the same here. The U.S. really, really, really needs to get their butts in gear, start doing something to counteract Beijing's DCEP, which is what they're calling it. So yeah, because it can achieve real-time collection of data related to money creation, bookkeeping, and providing useful reference for the provision of money and the implementation of monetary policies. He also added that it could be very useful for implementing negative interest rates. It also opens up a lot in capabilities in terms of AI and machine learning for fraud detection. There's potential programmability aspects as well. You know, when you talk about the older systems we referenced before, the plumbing, quote unquote, so what goes on under the surface for much of the global dollar economy are 30, 40, 50 years old, all with high friction and high costs. So yeah, America needs to be keeping an eye out. A central bank digital currency from the United States may be in order. We'll see if they can get their butts in gear, or if it's going to be too little, too late. I don't know. But we must move on. So the Afghan government, they're actually going to be using blockchain to combat counterfeit drugs. Pretty cool. Some practical things. And they're partnering up with old Phantom. That's right, Phantom. I've heard of them before. I've seen stuff for them before, but I haven't really followed them. So according to Phantom, its Opera blockchain will be used to track 80,000 units of 4 different pharmaceutical products in Afghanistan. After this pilot, the system will be scaled up to cover more products later this year. 50,000 units of hand sanitizer, 10,000 joint creams, 10,000 Kofol tablets, and 10,000 Dialcare foot creams will be tracked during the pilot. The system is meant to address Afghanistan's problem with counterfeit pharmaceuticals. There we go. Much like, Vechain doing the Nike to combat counterfeit products. This is where blockchain's going to have some real use cases going into the 2020s. It's definitely going to be interesting to watch. So yeah, an auditable supply chain record is huge. They'll have a shipping label that's scanned at each stage of the distribution process. Each time it's scanned, a hash of the product name, batch number, and expiration date and other details will be time-stamped and saved on the blockchain. A hash is a non-reversible mathematical function that generates an alphanumeric string that does not contain the data, but allows individuals to verify whether the data provided is the same from which the hash is calculated. Cool. They're also going to be doing a pilot program for healthcare record management. Look at them doing all these sorts of things. Good for Afghanistan. Good for Phantom. These partnerships are going to be huge. Huge. And I just keep saying that, but I don't care because it is the truth. Whew, all right. That was 5 articles. Take a second, stretch, think about what you're going to do, and then let's jump into the back half. Okay, well, hey, DeFi's compound's crashing on us, of course, about 50% in the past 2 weeks, and people are kind of worried it's going to drop a little bit more. There's actually a nice little thing right here in top corner. You can see old compound trading at 198, and that's quite a very downward slope. Alrighty, but it's an Ethereum-based finance protocol. Compound launched its native token back in June at $30, but due to the influx of hype, which was somewhat a byproduct of market illiquidity, the altcoin shot over 1,000% higher, reaching an all-time high price of $350. Sorry for any of those who bought it at $350, because that seems to be the top. Now, the cryptocurrency now trades for $1.85 as of this article's writing. Looks like it's shot back up a little bit. But a large portion of these losses incurred following the altcoin's listing on Coinbase. Analysts have said since Coinbase was one of the first mainstream crypto exchanges to list comp, it was the first venue through which many holders could sell their coins. I can see that. You dropped $1,000 on this coin at $30 a pop, and all of a sudden it's $350. And it gets listed on Coinbase, and you can cut that out to cash. I could imagine there's a bit of a stampede for the exit. Doesn't surprise me. Got to lock in those gains somehow. So yeah, but no, even though it's down from 50%, it's still massive. It's actually, I think it's, yeah, they're saying it's 28th by market cap. I don't think it's 28th. I think it might have jumped back up now that it's gone up. But hey. So this guy, Theta Sleek, which is a interesting name. So he's got pretty extensive thread over on Twitter talking about it. He wouldn't be surprised to see the cryptocurrency below $100, short of them doing some stuff. Yeah. So BlockFi is valued around 200, so he's comparing it, despite it holding 650 million in assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum. At a price of about 200, the fully diluted market capitalization of comp is around 2 billion, when the underlying compound protocol only holds 1 billion. This led him to the conclusion the fair value of a token, assuming similar long-term profitability as other crypto AUM businesses, should be at around $50 today. Yeesh. That is a bit of a drop. And then, of course, we got to talk about whether or not DeFi is a bubble, because that's the big thing. Now, here's what I got to say. It might be a bubble, and it might pop. That doesn't mean it's going away, and that doesn't mean it's a fad. The housing bubble popped. We still buy houses. You know, bubbles are okay. You know, there was a dot-com boom and bust in the early 90s. And even with that, you know, we still have, Yahoo, Google, Facebook, a lot of other companies kicking around post-bubble. So just because a bubble pops don't mean it's the end. New projects can arise. Existing companies can recover. So we got to keep an eye on compound. We do. I'll be interested to see when it finally hits a bottom. I've been debating about putting some money into it. I do, as of yet, have not. It's just something I'm kind of kicking around. It is backed by Coinbase, which adds a little bit of credibility to me, because if Coinbase is investing in it, they want it to be around long term. But at the same time, I do think it's got a ways to drop. You don't fly that high that fast without your wax wings melting and plummeting to the ocean. Just my opinion. So let's talk about some bad news in regards to XRP. They're saying interest in XRP is waning as Bitcoin and Ethereum outperform Ripple's native cryptocurrency. So yeah, so initially 2020 started out strong for the top 3 coins, but when the markets crashed in March, the 3 musketeers have seen vastly different growth trajectories. Ethereum has done pretty darn well since then. It's pretty much back to where it was. It had a 75% increase. Bitcoin had 27%, and Ripple didn't. It has not recovered. It's actually negative 9% on year-to-date growth. So DeFi innovation and proof of stake anticipation have been driving Ethereum, while the interest in XRP has died off as they struggle to recover. Bitcoin and Ethereum have moved in tandem en route to outperforming the fourth largest cryptocurrency with gains of 44 and 70%. It's interesting. I wouldn't count XRP out just yet. It's still trading at 1.7 cents, but interest waning, I can see that. They've been really quiet for a really long time now. I'm not sure. No one knows exactly who they're partnering with, what they're doing, what they're developing. At least if they're putting out announcements, it's not being picked up, and I'm not seeing it on these websites when I'm scanning through things for you guys. It's kind of disappointing because I do think XRP is a good coin and could be very useful in the financial sector. But all we can do is wait and see how this plays out. I do love Ethereum. I really do. Love Cardano a little bit more. So we just got to wait and see how this goes. But that's kind of the depressing stuff for the day. So last 3 articles are going to be a little bit more fun. So a Bitcoin trader is bankrupt after he fled investors due to a $13 million U.S. bill. He owed like $250 million in South African money, which is where this story takes place. His name is Willie Brett, CEO of VaultAge Solutions. He was tracked down by investigators after originally fleeing and going into hiding. They found his residence and confiscated a laptop and what they believe to be a Nano Ledger cryptocurrency wallet. Oh yeah, he failed to honor payments of 227 million South African rand, worth roughly 13.3 million US. So yeah, he traded Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies on behalf of investors, many of whom now look set to lose their substantial stakes in the company. Ooh, yeah. So yeah, he originally went into hiding 2 weeks ago after investors, among them a colonel in the South African National Defense Force, hired a private group of, let's call them debt collectors. Yeah, debt collectors. Before disappearing, he opened a case of intimidation with the police in Jeffreys Bay, according to News 24. And he was probably pretty intimidated. But whether or not that was illegal, well, it's 13.3 million. So he's been trading cryptocurrencies for investors since 2018, apparently without incident. The first signs that something was amiss at VaultAge Solutions appeared in May of this year when several investors received significantly less returns than they were rightly due. He's alleged to have tampered with proof of payment receipts, resulting in one investor receiving $83 instead of $8,313 that he was due. Another investor only received $1,175 when the pop receipt he received declared he'd been paid $117,000. So looks like this dude's company was failing, and instead of just being upfront and handling it, he tried to correct things and he messed things up really bad. So we'll see what this guy does. Unfortunate for him, but that's worth a chuckle. And just another example, keep an eye on where you put your money and don't put it all in one place. So another interesting thing for adoption, Visa is seeking Ethereum and Ripple devs for global blockchain payments. They're looking for developers experienced with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple. We'll see if they're actually developing stuff on any of these blockchains. Ethereum would be the most interesting for me, honestly, but its transaction speed is just so low, I don't know if they're going to do it. But yeah, it showed up on its New Zealand site. They're looking for a strong developer experience with Ethereum and blockchain architecture. So, is Visa using Ethereum? So despite the advertisement's apparent focus on developers with experience on ETH, Visa's blockchain payment product may not be using it, nor will necessarily use Ripple or blockchain, which are also named in the ad. One of Visa's 5 stated priority verticals for the global commercial payments team is listed as Hyperledger chain code development in Golang. Also, one of the primary responsibilities listed in the job is posting is to maintain firm's relationship with the Hyperledger Initiative, which is an open source umbrella project of multiple blockchain and technologies created by the Linux Foundation of 2016, which is primarily focused on building permissioned enterprise-grade blockchain technologies for use by private businesses and corporations. The initiative has the financial backing of IBM and Intel. Dear Lord. It uses the Solidity programming language, which is also named in the ad. It's primarily used to create smart contracts on Ethereum. R3, meanwhile, is an open source blockchain project aimed at creating permission blockchains for private enterprises similar to Hyperledger. So they're developing things. Ethereum is the biggest smart contract in the game, so that's probably why they're focusing on it. But are they actually going to implement anything on the Ethereum blockchain itself? That I doubt, given Ethereum's current state. If they're able to drop Ethereum 2.0 and get some sharding out there, Visa may be looking to do that in the long term and exploring those possibilities. Wouldn't surprise me. But that remains to be seen. And then rounding things off at number 10, old Backed, still kicking around there. I know this was like the biggest story of 2018, 2019, like when Backed. And then frickin' DeFi snuck up on us all. So yeah, Bitcoin and the cryptos market multi-month consolidation period have provided investors with an accumulation opportunity, and it appears that institutional and retail investors have taken advantage of this. Volume on Bakkt has been rocketing higher in recent times. Over the past week, the institutionally aimed platform has seen a 17% rise in future volume and an 18% climb in open interest. Oh yeah, large investors are adopting a buy and hold strategy when it comes to Bitcoin. Woo, that is what we want. Get it off the market. Drive that demand up. So, according to the Bakkt Volume Bot, which is a program that tracks the key statistics related to the platform, the total volume on the platform last week was 80 million, marking a 17% rise from the prior week. Dang, there we go. And the futures premium, shows institutions are growing more involved in crypto. So I'm not going to read through this whole article. Basically what it means is people are paying attention, especially in the retail investment space. With everything going on in the world, honestly, I think that can kind of explain the price depression. A large volume of cryptocurrency purchases happen in the United States, and I can attest I'm in a much more precarious financial situation than I was 4 months ago, 5 months ago. So the amount of money I can put into cryptocurrencies is far less. So that might be depressing things a little bit because I know I am pretty average in terms of an American, if I do say so myself. So the average person has a bit less money they can put in, and people like me generally buy things on exchanges, not over the counter, like some of these larger institutional places do. So that can kind of contribute for this sluggish price. At least that's my internal reasoning, but we'll see how things go. Hopping over to coin lore, because again, CoinMarketCap was down on me. Bitcoin, everything's pretty much in the green, though mostly less than 1 or 2%. Cardano's showing as 3.3%. Oh, I do apologize. That was the hour mark. CoinLore has it differently. Bitcoin's up by 2, Ethereum 5, XRP 6. Bitcoin Cash is up by 6. Bitcoin SV is up by 12%. Why? Litecoin's up by 4%. Cardano's kicking around up at 3%. It's getting so close to 10 cents. I'm hoping they can surmount that. I know that's a huge resistance level. Binance Coin's up 2%. EOS is kicking around at number 10. Chainlink, oh, look at them. They kicked out Tezos. They're now number 11, up 3%, sitting over at 483. Not too bad. Tezos Stellar, Crypto.com all the way down there. Vechain's in the top 20. Neo still alive somehow, and IOTA rounding out that. So we do got a pretty interesting mark. If you look over here, I could see AVA is listed in the gainers from the top 400. ARC's up like 33%. I wonder what in the world they did, but we'll see how it does. Looking for this compound coin. Where you at? Where you at, compound? I'm not seeing it at all. Oh man, Verge is still kicking around down there somewhere. Okay. Well, hey, that'll do it for me today, guys. It was great talking to y'all, and I'll see everyone tomorrow. Peace.